Welcome to Dream Farm. It's a beautiful March 13th here in Northeast Iowa. And I promised I wasn't going to talk about apple trees anymore, but I just could not help myself. And I did some what's called bark grafting. And I don't know, I would have to say that the jury is still out on whether or not I did this successfully. We'll know in a few weeks if the grafts take, but I thought you might get a kick out of this. Either way, even if all you do is laugh at my efforts at this, basically what I'm doing is trying to put a commercially evolved or a commercially grown apple tree onto the root system of my wild trees. So it's a cool project, and if you've got wild trees growing around, you might want to stick a couple of these commercially available pieces of scion wood onto those trees and see what happens. So anyway, here's a quick episode on bark grafting. Dream Farm is brought to you by Whitetail Institute Food Plot Blends, Hunt Stand Pro Whitetail App, Hoyt Archery, Wildlife Farming, and PH Outdoors. On this segment, I want to talk about or demonstrate grafting the scion wood from some of the commercial varieties of apple trees onto this one behind me. This is a wild, the tree it's a wild tree, so I don't have any idea what variety it is. I don't even know if that one in particular was producing apples, but I've trimmed it way back, and I'm going to trim it back even more. And I am not going to talk about specific technique for doing this method of grafting. It's called bark grafting. I think it's got another name too. I would not be an expert enough to follow when it comes to this method. So you can go online and you can find all kinds of information, but these are my bundles. This is Gold Rush. So you're supposed to be able to get at least 2 grafts out of one of these whips, I guess they call it, of scion wood. It looks like you can get at least 2, if not 3. So I've got probably on that tree, I can probably do 1, 2, maybe 1, 2, 3, probably 5 or 6 maximum. So I think I'll do, let's see what else I got here first. This is Fuji. I've been told that Gold Rush and Fuji aren't that awesome as far as disease resistance. Enterprise is supposed to be one of the best for disease resistance. I've got 5 of these, so I could probably get 10 to 15. So maybe I'll focus on these. And then the 4th one is Honeycrisp, and that also is one that they say is not very disease resistant. So we're just going to kind of get what we get, because I'm not going to spend a bunch of time up here spraying this. So if they don't, if they can't make it, then, too bad, because we've got other stuff that will. So I'm going to go ahead with the Enterprise on this one and the Honeycrisp, and we'll see what we end up with. So when I put it into the tree, I'm going to make a little gap between the bark and the cambium layer of the tree, of this bigger branch. And then I get this thing cut down so that the cambium on this is exposed, and I slide it into that gap between the bark and the cambium, and then I reseal that. And you can do, this is called a bark graft, I guess, but you can do multiple ones around the bigger stem. So I'll have 3 of these Enterprise, and then I'll do 2 of the Honeycrisp. So there's 1, 2, here's my 3rd one. You want to make sure your buds are pointing up because that's the direction that the branches are going to go, and the direction that the bud is pointed. I need to trim this back, basically make almost like a 45-degree angle and remove the material to get to the cambium so it slides in there. If you look at it now, and I'm no expert again, like I said, but that layer just inside the bark of this is what will merge or graft into the cambium layer on this wild tree. So now I just slide that down once I make a crack between the bark and the cambium, I slide this down in there and then just seal it, and in theory, you know, this should take off. Yeah, maybe it won't work, but we got plenty of them. And like I said, I'm not the expert. Okay, let's try this one. This will be good for both of us, you guys and me. So don't go away. There might be some comic relief, especially if you know something about grafting. You might really find this entertaining. Okay. I wish there was somebody here that knew how to do this. Jordan? And then you work that open. And you gently ease your bark away. Yeah, might be working. Yeah, it actually is kind of. So I've made a little pocket here, as you can see. I can take my wood with the bud pointed out, slide it down in there, and that is the graft for all intents and purposes. You just have to seal that so that moisture doesn't get out and insects and whatever else don't get in. So that's the first one. I'm going to do 3 with the Enterprise on this bigger stem. Jordan keeps smiling over there. That's kind of annoying.
It just doesn't seem like it should work.
Well,
Like you need...
maybe it won't. But on YouTube it works.
Okay.
So again, just split the bark, spread it away from the cambium. I don't think I was supposed to do that. Now, this one might be a little bit rough, but nature finds a way.
The knife right towards me is kind of stressing me out.
But it's long, it's like 5 feet away. No, you don't have to back up. I'll be like this tiny little object in there. Way off in the distance, can't even hear me.
I'll go stand down there.
Run it, do it with the drone, okay. See what I did there? I exposed the cambium layer, and just as before, I'm inserting it between the bark and the cambium on this apple tree. So I got one more to go, like so. So now I have to wrap that. And I think this is probably one of the key parts, is making sure that you get it wrapped really nice and tight and sealed. And I bought some spray at Menards. It's tree sealing, pruning something spray. But the whole purpose of it is to make it, you know, to seal it, keep the moisture from getting out, and you know, the infections and so forth from getting in. These are supposed to then shoot branches out.
Allegedly.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, people seem to do it. Oh, wow, that's kind of cool. That's really cool. Okay, we'll let that dry, and then I'm going to put the cling and seal, which is basically just one more layer. I can probably get by with just that, but I kind of want to go one more layer. They make biodegradable tape that you can do this with, but what I'll do here, I'll come back again sometime this summer and remove this, you know, once it gets growing, and you know, hopefully it gets growing. Then I'll remove this wrap from it. I'm going to use electric tape to get it to stick on there. I really think that'll work.
Yeah, I don't know why it wouldn't.
I bet you people who are good at grafting know 10 reasons why it wouldn't.
Well, I don't know any of those reasons. So.
Yeah, so as far as we're concerned, it's perfect. There. I mean, really, in theory, that should work.
Yeah.
I mean, it does everything that it's supposed to do. These are nice and stout, in good contact, you know, cambium to cambium. And that's the key to it, I guess, is the grafting takes place between the cambium layers of the scion wood that you're installing and the stub that you're grafting it to. Yes, I think it would. I hope that's an apple tree. That should be the last apple episode for a while. I've said that before though. They're just fascinating to me. The more I learn about it and the more I get into it, the more this interests me. And I see them as a really, really good complement to any recreational land or really any property in general, even a farm. You know, having a little small apple orchard, it's not as hard to do as what people think, and it's a lot of fun. You know, we like to eat apples, and as it turns out, you know, the wildlife like to eat them too. Well, that's it for today. We'll see you soon for the next episode of Dream Farm, and remember to always dream big.